Mutant Year Zero is a game that's kind of difficult to show the gameplay of very well in a short review because of the fact that it takes forever to do everything. It's kind of like a cross between Wasteland and XCOM, in that the wandering around big empty areas looking for resources is reminiscent of Wasteland, and then the combat is basically turn-based XCOM. Problems with that stem from this stuff. You're placed in stealth before you actually begin open combat with anyone, and you're heavily encouraged to take people out with stealth so you can't be detected. The problem with this is I have silent weapons on my characters. So my silent pistol here does 6 damage. My crossbow does 7. And this guy doesn't have a silent weapon at the moment, but I could buy another crossbow for another 7. So that would be 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 6 for the pistol is 20. This guy's got 24 health. Now, we could take out someone like the Marauder quite easily, but the problem is that the Marauder doesn't really matter. The Marauder does damage that's literally 2 damage a shot, and I have 2 armor on all my characters. He can't even hurt us. The Shaman, on the other hand, he can summon reinforcements at the start of the fight as his first action. So you kind of have to kill him pretty quickly, because otherwise you get overwhelmed and you get murdered. And a lot of the problems stem from the fact that there are many situations that are problematic like this, where you'll encounter new enemy types or enemies who've got great powers, and basically you have to kill them as soon as you see them, or else they're going to give you major problems. There's enemies that can mind control you, there's enemies that can summon reinforcements, and there's enemies that can revive other enemies. Of course, you might think that shooting the enemies that you're being revived, or what the enemy's doing the reviving, might interrupt it. You'd be wrong. It doesn't interrupt it at all. So the enemy has heard us. I don't believe they actually know exactly where we are at the moment, so we're going to try and go into Overwatch here. One of the other problems this has is it has a very rigid cover and chance to hit system that's not like the granular one you see in games like XCOM. So like for instance, this guy at the moment is in low cover, so he has 25% less chance to be hit. So like he's got low cover bonus of 25%. One thing I do like about this is you can see the hit percentages as you go along to see where you're going to be hitting. The problem is that he still has low cover here, and if I go to a different character, he has low cover here as well. Like I just have a better chance to hit with his gun, so it has a pretty decent chance to hit from pretty much anywhere. But cover rules only work at right angles, so like you can be over here, and in XCOM that'd pretty much be a flank because you can see them entirely exposed. But if you're behind heavy cover, you'll have a 25% chance to hit. And that feels bad because you can get yourself in a position where you should be able to just shoot them in pretty much any other strategy game. It also makes it a lot more rigid for strategy stuff and things where you're putting yourself into place so you can get better hit chances. Like a single tile of distance can be the difference between a 75% and a 50% chance to hit. I mean, in other games you're going to get like maybe 2 to 4% damage or percentage chance drop off every time you move a square, which means the closer you are, the better your chances of hitting them, but not to the extent of a 25% drop because you're 1 square out of range, That's the stuff that doesn't feel good. Like, the action economy in general is kind of busted. Like, your greatest powers are ones that stop enemies from moving, or that let you actually just straight up mind control them yourself. Because there's just so many enemies. And again, the game says like, hey, you could probably stealth them all. But the majority of enemies have more health than you could do in a single turn if you could guarantee you'd hit them with every one of your shots. And you can't guarantee that.
You said the generator would bring this giant to life. Did you lie to me?
No lie, Grey One. Only truth. Big truth. Just need a little more time.
You sound like you want to die. Do you want to die?
No. You the chief, Grey One. You the hot tamale. I will get this middleman working again. It will kill more and more settlements. All the way
I kind of picked this level to check it out because I also heard there's a way you can reprogram this giant mech to fight for you. There's a trophy for it. I figured I might have a wander around and see if I could do that.
Ancient machine. Whatever it was, it looks dangerous.
Ah, reset robot programming. Trophy earned demo thing. So that should now just target everything when it gets activated. I'm kind of running out of things to say for this review already, so I'm just going to get into another fight here and see how things play out. But like that's kind of covered the main problems I have with this game, are that it just doesn't feel good to play. Like, the idea of setting up before every single encounter gets very tedious, and the fact that you can't efficiently be stealthy encourages you to just go loud all the time because it can make a damn difference. I had way more success with just improving my loud guns, because at least then I could actually murder things. Other stuff that's problematic, the leveling system. So you might see that these enemies are level 45, we're level 45, and the enemy level affects how much health they have. When you level up, you don't deal more damage. The only way you can deal more damage is by finding better weapons in the world, which you just find in chests in various locations. So the level numbers start to get very abstract and don't really mean anything in the end. Like, at the end of the game I level 120, and for 20 solid levels, leveling up meant absolutely nothing. I couldn't invest any points in the skill tree because I had all the skills, and it didn't affect anything else. The game also actively lied to me on occasion by telling me that there were new items in the shop because I'd leveled up, because it's triggered to do it every 10 levels you level, and for the last 3 times it said that there was nothing to buy. Which is nice, you know. Also, I assumed from the fact that I hacked that robot that it was going to just start shooting everything, but apparently I just turned it off, I think. Which is kind of disappointing. I thought I might have an ally. But yeah, as you can see, if you just start shooting, you can find yourself rapidly overwhelmed by targets. Other problems with the... oh, heads up then. With the action economy stuff then. So, throwing grenades ends your turn. Some of the grenades you can throw are things like chemical flares, which let you get better chance to hit. But getting 25% better chance to hit because you've used one of your 3 actions for the entire turn is essentially worthless, because using up one of your people who can shoot to give someone else slightly better chance to hit is worthless. Grenades are generally pretty useless, only being useful for destroying cover. And there's a lot of status effects that can affect your characters. Like, you can be knocked over. Like, I've got an ability called Hog Rush that lets me run at someone and knock them out to put them down for 2 turns. Enemies get that too. And then when you're down, your character doesn't do anything, just lie there and get shot, because that's all they can do. And your maximum squads is always 3. Even when you have a squad of 6 people available to change between, you can have 3 people. And that gets real tiresome real fast. Especially when you start fighting multiple enemies at once who can mind control and knock down. And then suddenly you get into like a loss spiral, like we call it in XCOM, where people got put down and there's nothing you can do to save them because you only have control of one character. And generally speaking, if you're in a bad situation because people have been knocking you down, they're just going to keep giving you problems. So yeah, that kind of is everything there is to show off about Mutant Year Zero, really. You do an awful lot of slow-paced, turn-based tactical battles that get repetitive because of the fact that your abilities are generally kind of lame. I'm going to quickly load out of this fight just to show you the skill tree stuff. I'll go to the save game we entered to actually get into the start of this. Because yeah, there's some interesting skills you can unlock, and the game doesn't let you have any of them on at the same time. Because it doesn't want you to have fun. Fun is prohibited. As a result, at the end of the game, I was using the same abilities I'd used from pretty much the start of the game, because you can only equip one of each, and some of the abilities are just way better than ours. Where do you go? Where do you go? Load times are also an issue. Mutations. So, you can get cool abilities, like the ability to freeze people in place, or the ability to jump really, really far to wherever you want to be, or run and gun, or rapid fire. Except, you can only have one of each of the styles on at one time. One passive, one minor, and one major mutation. So like, if you want to be able to taunt people, well, then you can't have run and gun, you can't have twitch shot. You want to be able to jump real far? Well, that's fine, you just can't have the mobilization power. Like, there's the other guy who's got the ability to mind control people, which lets you control organic people only. So if you come across a fight where there's people and robots and you kill the people first, it does nothing for you. He also has chain lightning, but you can't use that at the same time. It'd be overpowered. It'd be too much fun. Or there's things like the ability to eat corpses to gain health, which is kind of neat because you could use that to stop people from being regenerated and stuff like that. Except that, again, if you bring that, you can't have the ability to be invincible for a turn, or to knock people down and over and out of cover. Like, just let me have all of the perks, game. That would be more fun. Otherwise, you get 3 of these that you want, and then you never use the others because there's no reason to ever change to them. Like, there's this skill, like having lightning reflexes, and I've never equipped it once because there's absolutely no reason to. Not when he's got other better mutations like running gun. And of course, there's also the fact that it's not even a passive. It's something you have to turn on to run past Overwatch. There's also a shop and upgrade system, like you can add various attachments to your guns to give them special abilities. There's armour you can find, the armour just makes you significantly invincible to large chunks of enemies that you fight. It's just unimpressive all round is all. And the map's okay, like there's a decent amount of content here. It took me about 13 hours to beat the main campaign, and about 5 to beat the DLC that's included with the physical version. But I can't honestly recommend this unless it goes really cheap. Like, you get it on PC, you can probably get mods that would help you make it better. Like even just stuff like the inability to sprint when you're exploring, or a mini-map when you're looking around. There's so many quality of life things they could just add in to make it a more enjoyable game. As it is, it's just very mediocre. If you get the whole thing physically for 20 quid, you could have fun with it. But like, if I want to play a turn-based tactical game, I'm going to play XCOM 2. So, that's my opinion. Thanks for watching.